Now, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel says she's unhappy with elections in her home state, where her party has lost to an anti-immigration party. Merkel's CDU party was beaten into third place by the AfD, or Alternative for Germany. On the sidelines of the G20 conference in China, Merkel said the refugee issue affected the results, and her party now had to regain the public's trust. Well, joining us now from Berlin with more on this story is Angela Waters. She's the Germany correspondent for USA Today newspaper. Angela, good to have you with us. So this is a pretty disastrous result for Merkel. What do you think this means for her party and perhaps an impact on the upcoming parliamentary elections?
I think that this election definitely showed us that Angela Merkel does not have home field advantage in Eastern Germany anymore. I think that definitely after the refugee policy, the political system in Germany has been turned on its head. You now see her getting support from people who would usually vote for more leftist parties, but the right has been abandoning her with even local CDU politicians going against her and speaking out against her.
Well, she says now that, she's got to win back the trust of her public. Can she do that? Can she deal with the fears and concerns over refugees in Germany?
I think it really depends on how the whole situation plays out in the upcoming months, because if you have another month like July where there's just a series of attacks committed by people with migrant backgrounds, it's going to be really tough for her to get her approval rating back up.
We know that AfD, of course, is a single-issue party, so I suppose the million-dollar question for them is whether they can maintain support.
I think that there are a lot of people in Germany that are very concerned about the refugee policy, and I think that it's really on the tip of everyone's mind when voting at the moment. So I think that as long as it stays the main topic of conversation, I think that they're going to have support and they're going to be able to have more siphoning of votes from all parties, not just the CDU.
Well, of course, Merkel now at the G20 summit in China, where, the big topic of conversation is Syria and trying to get a ceasefire. And the direct problem with Syria is the number of migrants arriving in Europe. Now, that has fallen to a certain extent because of this EU deal with Turkey. How worried is Angela Merkel going to be about that deal potentially collapsing because the EU can't agree on visa-free travel for the Turks?
I think support for Angela Merkel in Germany really does hinge on this deal. People want to know that Germany can manage their refugee population and the influx, because over 1 million refugees came into Germany last year, which had a lot of people worried about local resources. A lot of people in Germany are saying that her "we can do it" policy isn't really falling on her shoulders. A lot of local governments are saying it's falling on theirs.
Angela, thank you for that. Angela Waters there joining us from Berlin.